Welcome to the Beauty Moves podcast. I am your host, Koyeta Tamara, and your guide on this transformative journey. This podcast is your ultimate destination for inspiration, actionable strategies, and real talk conversations about building a successful business while becoming the best version of yourself. We'll dive into topics that empower you to elevate your skills, grow your brand, and navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship with confidence. You will hear from industry experts, learn the secrets behind thriving businesses, and discover the mindset shifts that will set you apart in a competitive world. So whether you're starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you're in the right place. Together, let's take bold action and make your vision a reality. Let's make beauty moves. Welcome to another episode of Beauty Moves Podcast. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'm sure you've heard that before. I am really excited. By the time this podcast hits, my book, Brain Interrupted, Outsmarting the Five Mental Traps Holding You Back, will be out, okay? It will be out. Now, it's only in ebook form now, but down the line, we're going hardcover. I'm really excited. It is not a long read. It's not meant to, you know, bore you. It's meant to have you see yourself and work on making yourself the best self. Because as business owners, we can get caught up in things that happen internally and not realize how it's affecting how we move, how we show up, how we interact with people, including our family members. And it's also about realizing and interrupting those patterns and cycles. Because if you look at your life, if you look at how you've moved in the past or even now, you can spot things that come up and you might be asking yourself why. Well, this will allow you to ask yourself that, spend time in that, figure out the why, so that when you see those things creeping up again, you can kill the cycle, you can kill the pattern. That's what we want to do. Okay, so I am quite excited. Thank you for all those who buy the book. It's available on Amazon. So use the link in the show notes to get that book and read. It's not expensive. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to help everybody, but at an affordable price. So I want you to get that book, get it for a friend, get it for another friend, and let the chain continue and leave your review. I don't know how you feel about it until you tell me in that review. Okay, so thank you all for those that purchase in advance. I'm so grateful and I hope you find it helpful. You'll also receive a free a free guide along with your book. So make sure that you leave the information. As I said, I'm going to paste it in the show notes so you can figure out how to get access to that free guide that's going to also accompany the book to help you recognize your cycles and patterns. Really important. They do play hand in hand. And I want you to get that. So thank you all once again for those who purchase and for those who are thinking about it. Don't think too hard. Don't think too hard. It's definitely something that's going to be a reference for you, a guide for you to pick up time and time again. So thank you again. Now we're going to talk today about when you do something that probably scares you and what happens after, the aftermath of that, because we don't really talk about that a lot. How, launching a book, in my case, how starting a business or pitching, those things can take a lot of energy out of you, and it can cause you to do what we're going to explore today, which is shut down. So I'm sure you have done something brave, right? And then immediately want to disappear. So again, you did the pitch, you wrote a book, you had a hard conversation, you raised your rate perhaps, had to talk to your students or your clients about, being tardy or just not looking or not obeying the rules properly, or you spoke up in that room. And then afterward, you don't necessarily feel proud. It's actually a tiring feeling for you because, as I said, doing those things takes a lot of energy. it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of your energy. It kind of sucks you because you pull out of that, you channel all of that into that moment. And so it allows you to feel more tired, detached, maybe you kind of irritated, and sometimes even numb. And you'll tell yourself certain things like, yeah, I just need a break. I just needed a break. But if you're really honest, it felt like you pulled back a little bit, like something in you went offline, like you're shutting down, right? And here's the part that people do not say out loud. Sometimes it's actually easier to stay hidden than recover from being seen. So once you're out there and you're just like, I've had enough. And it kind of sounds like it sounds like, oh my goodness, I can't think of the word. It kind of sounds like an introverted thing to do, but extroverts also have this as well, this period of like detachment, and you want to recover from being seen. And this is why. And it happened to me. So after I wrote this book, I expected momentum. I posted about it, but I felt a strange drop. There wasn't anything wrong or anything like that, just a dip. And I woke up and I wanted to disappear. I didn't want to open up my phone. Um, I wasn't necessarily scared of the comments because you know how people be people in, it is what it is. But I felt exposed and my energy was low. And as much as we are public figures in the sense that we're on social media, there's still something you can't quite wrap your head around. People knowing you in different parts of the world that you don't even know about, right? So that is a makes me feel exposed, and that's what I felt. And so my energy felt low, my thoughts were slower, and I kept reaching for something to distract myself. Something I do to distract myself is watch Housewives. So I will do that. I will scroll on my phone. And in this case, I went to laundry. I went to do some laundry and organizing. I've been organizing like crazy, and I will be posting that. And those are some of my distractions. Yes, they need to be done, but I do use them as distractions as well. Really anything except to push forward. And I almost told myself I was just being a balanced human being because I do believe balance in the sense of doing balancing between your work life and doing things that make you feel happy. Not necessarily in the sense of, you're always going to have a balance between your work and your family, but just doing things that make you happy, right? And but I've done the inner work, as I said, and I wanted to recognize the pattern, and still going through the inner work. And it had nothing to do with balance for me. It was retreat. I was retreating inside of myself. And that retreating can look like, yeah, very responsible because it feels like you're taking care of yourself, and it feels safe, right? But I also realized that when you step into that realm of being seen, your nervous system reads it as danger. It's dangerous. It feels dangerous because it is unfamiliar. And when something is unfamiliar, your brain looks for protection. This episode of Beauty Moves podcast is brought to you by Zensurance because building your dream business is exciting, but protecting it is essential. Whether you're a stylist, salon owner, content creator, or service-based boss, Zensurance offers business insurance quotes that fits your unique needs. They make it simple, affordable, and stress-free to get protected so you can scale without fear. Click the link in the show notes to get your free quotes in minutes. That's Zensurance, insurance designed for business owners like us. Your brain looks for a way to guard itself. So it's not exactly like you're panicking, but protection can also look like and sound like, I'm tired. Maybe next week. Let me reorganize first. I need more clarity. And I've said this within this week, okay? And it's not that you are by no means confused. It's contraction. You're kind of stepping back, right? And if you don't recognize it, you'll start believing that you've lost motivation when you didn't actually lose motivation. You just hit some internal resistance, and that's different. Losing motivation and internal resistance are two different things, right? So let's talk about the cost of not seeing it clearly. So when you shut down after progress, you create a cycle. So it looks like you build momentum, you retreat, you rebuild, you retreat again. And a lot of us go through that, right? Over time that cycle makes you question yourself because you're constantly building momentum. You retreat, you rebuild, and you retreat again. And then you start thinking, why can't I stay consistent? Why do I always lose steam? Maybe I'm not disciplined. And that very belief eats at your confidence and it shows up in your health. You eat clean for 5 days and then you emotionally check out on day six. And that's okay. I know everyone has like a cheat day, but it also goes deeper by showing up in your business. You pitch boldly, right? You go out there and you give it your all, then you avoid the follow up. It's like, yeah, I did it. I'm good. And honestly, I find myself kind of thinking like that because I did something bold over the past couple days that I would have never done. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I did it, but I do need to follow up, which I will do. And this attitude also shows up in your relationships, right? You express a need and then minimize it the next day. Can you help me with this? Oh, not, I wasn't really. I was just tired. No, you can minimize that need by saying things like that, right? And so it's not that you're inconsistent and they don't even correlate. It's that you're protecting yourself, right? It's protection running in the background. That humming sound in the background is you protecting yourself. And the longer you call it laziness, the longer you stay stuck in it. And that's the real cost of what the shutdown does to you. If you don't recognize it, is that you can stay stuck in it and you can mislabel it, right? And you misdiagnose the pattern. So here's what I practice instead. The morning I felt that dip, I didn't force productivity. Sometimes we have that habit of like pushing through, powering through, gotta get done, right? So I didn't force the productivity, but I also didn't disappear either. I chose one visible action, just one, not one, two, three, four, five, just one. And I replied to a message. I shared one small behind the scenes moment. I recorded a short voice note. Just one. Okay? And I stayed in motion without overwhelming myself. I stayed in motion without overthinking the moment and just let it be. And here's what changed for me that I noticed. Instead of swinging from expansion to retreat, I created some steadiness, right? I steadied myself. I reminded my nervous system that this is safe. This is a safe place. So that means you don't have to collapse after courage. You can stretch without snapping back. Okay? And for me, that felt powerful. That was a grounding moment for me. And for you, if you've ever built momentum and then pulled away, even if it's like people notice when you pull away, even in the quiet ways. So if you've ever pulled away in any shape or form, if you've ever told yourself you're inconsistent when really you're protecting yourself, and we need to learn to know the difference because we chastise ourselves so much for and mislabel some of our own actions so much that we have a hard time picking back up and getting back on the horse and get going, right? So I want you to pay attention to those thoughts, those emotions, those feelings, those actions. And this is the kind of pattern that I break down in Brain Interrupted, outsmarting the 5 mental traps holding you back, right? Because we often think that we are not ambitious people, and that is not true. It's not an ambition issue. I've met a lot of ambitious people that are still stuck. So it's not a matter of that. It's the way your mind reacts to growth. Let me say it again. It's the way your mind reacts to growth. Okay? Now, if this episode felt like someone just described you in the last 6 months, I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I'd like you to pre-order the book, okay, Brain Interrupted, Outsmarting the 5 Mental Traps Holding You Back, and ask yourself this question tonight, today, as you're driving, whenever you listen. When was the last time I shut down after doing something brave? When was the last time I shut down after doing something brave? And you're not doing it because you're casting judgment. You want to be able to understand yourself better. Okay? Understand yourself on a deeper level. And next week, I'm going even deeper. We're going to talk about the voice that doesn't just tell you to shrink or retreat. Okay? It's going to tell you that you're not enough in the very first place. So we're going to keep this train going. Stay tuned next week. Again, I need to hear from you. If you're finding these episodes helpful, leave a comment, share it with a friend. You know, sometimes I think we are embarrassed to share what we're listening to, but why? If it can help somebody else, why do we feel that way, right? So don't shrink in this moment if you know someone that this could help. Again, thank you all for listening to this episode, and I hope you find it helpful. I hope it speaks to the core of who you are and how you're feeling, and it something connects with you and you take that next step. Okay? So until next time, take care. Bye. Thank you, Father. Thank you for tuning into the Beauty Moves podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, as this helps improve my ranking. Take care. Until next time.